Hello and welcome to your mom's favorite channel. And today we'll be making some omelettes.
But omelettes have eggs!
I know, but we're living in the future now. We can substitute these things with like chickpea flour and tofu. You should be able to get tofu at any Asian stores or health food shops. But it's way cheaper at the Asian shops and try to look for a nice medium to firm tofu. And chickpea flour is a staple in Indian cooking, so you should be able to find it at Indian shops or any health food stores. And sometimes it might be called gram flour. But anyway, let's cook. I'll be making two different kinds of toppings for my omelettes today. So the tofu is not 100% necessary, although it will help with the texture and retaining moisture in the mix. Okay, but first let's take this carrot and turn it into smoked salmon. Then with a veggie peeler, you start peeling the one side of the carrot over and over again, as if you've got something to prove to this little veggie tail motherfucker. Fuck you, Lenny. You should end up with a bunch of these carrot ribbons. These will be our salmon strips. One carrot is enough for the recipe that I'm making. Then in a little bowl, you want to take a light soy sauce, add 3 tablespoons. I'm using a concentrated liquid smoke, so I'm only adding a few drops. If you have another one, add about 1 teaspoon. And then in a blender, fold up 1 nori sheet, add some kelp. If you don't have kelp, it's fine. You can skip that step. And then just blend it into a fine powder. This should only take a few seconds, about 5 or so. Get a nice big piece of aluminium foil, enough to cover all the carrots, and then first put some of the fishy powder at the bottom and place some of the carrots on top of that. You want to place them random so that there's enough space in between them for all the juices and stuff to go through and to steam. So just layer it with some carrot, some powder, and then fold the foil into a little parcel shape. You want to fold this so that it will be able to keep the liquid inside. Add the liquid, all of it, and then add 2 tablespoons of any neutral flavored oil. I'm using coconut oil. And then you want to close up your little carrot parcel and then just give it a quick toss around just to get all the juices everywhere. And then we will toss this into the oven for about 20 minutes at 200 degrees Celsius. So while we wait for that, let's get our omelette batter ready to go. I'm sorry if this is inconvenient, but I'll be giving all the ingredients amounts in grams. Firstly, we add 90 grams of chickpea flour, and then 60 grams of normal bread flour or all-purpose flour, then 8 grams of regular salt, and then black salt. Now this stuff smells like shit and tastes like egg. You can totally skip this step if you don't want your omelettes to taste like egg. I added about 1.5 grams of this stuff. Just remember, this stuff is very potent. And then add 30 grams of any neutral flavored oil. Garlic and onion powder you can add to your liking. I added about 1 teaspoon of each. And then 5 to 7 grams of nutritional yeast, just for a little bit of umami and some cheesiness. Then 150 grams of tofu. This stuff is very cheap if you get it from the Asian stores. I got 6 blocks for about 20 rand. Czech has recently released a new range of plant-based milks. I thought I'd give this oat milk a go. Make sure that the milk you use is unsweetened. And then just add 300 grams of any plant-based milk of your choice. And then we just have to blend this up and then it's ready to cook. It should be more or less like a crepe batter consistency. Fuck, hey man, this stuff stinks. The smell will cook out though. Okay, let's get our toppings ready. Alright, so I won't be giving any specific instructions over here. You guys have seen me do this a couple of times. It's only cutting up a bunch of shit. Onions, mushrooms, little tomatoes, garlic, and some of this nice chorizo that I like putting in everything now. I mean, the possibilities are endless. You can add literally anything. Avocado, peppers, chickpeas, lentils, beans, any leafy greens, cheeses. Let's get the stuff in the pan and fry it up quick. Same story as earlier, you've seen me do this a few times, so I'll just skim over this really quickly. You don't even have to cook stuff to put in there. You can roast stuff if you want to, fry it up, however you feel like it. I just cooked all of this on medium-high heat, and once this was done cooking, I just put it aside to cool down a bit. And while that was cooking, the carrots are now ready. Let's get it out. Be careful, it is very hot, don't burn yourself. And there we go, that's our smoked salmon. It's gone nice and soft. If the nori powder does freak you out, you can always just scrape it off, but it gives that fishy taste, so you might want to keep it on there. Alright, let's talk pans. It's essential that you use a non-stick pan if you can find one that's as shallow as this. A flexible, thin spatula will also work wonders. Let's get these omelettes cooking. You can use oil for this. I like using the spray and cook. I'm cooking this on the lowest setting that my gas stove will go. Spread the batter out nice and evenly and cover it with the lid. Once it looks like it's dry at the top, you can start loosening the edges and trying not to break it, carefully flip it over. Cooking times might vary on different stoves. For me, this took about 2.5 minutes for each omelette. And then you just repeat the same process over and over again till all your batter is done. If you want to give it more of a yellow color, feel free to add just a pinch of turmeric into the batter. You also don't want to put too much batter in at one time, as that might extend the cooking times but also might make it a bit more difficult to fold. I know these might look a bit like crepes, but I promise you, they're softer, fluffier and more moist. You could add some of your toppings into the batter while cooking it, but I prefer adding the stuff afterwards and then folding it up. And there's a little story about how I got into cooking that involves omelettes that I would like to tell you sometime, but first, I think let's get these omelettes made. The toppings are ready and I have some of this tofu cream cheese that I've made in one of the previous videos. So this step is pretty much straightforward. You just want to put stuff straight into your omelette. I'll be adding some spring onions, some of this feta cheese, also some Prego sauce. I love that stuff. So first I'll be doing the cream cheese and salmon omelette. Start by putting a nice big dollop of the cream cheese and then spread it around. And take some of your carrot salmon ribbons and then put it on as pretty or as ugly as you want. I originally wanted to put some avocado onto this, but I'm not willing to pay 40 Rand for one avocado, so I skipped that. So just add some spring onions, and I added a little bit of chives as well, just for that extra bit of flavor. Then just add some fresh ground pepper and a little squeeze of fresh lemon juice, and this omelette is ready to roll. And then for the next one, I'll be adding some of my Prego sauce, spread around, some feta cheese, and then some of the rest of the toppings. I think next time I'll just try a spinach and feta one. I think that will also be really good. But this was also very delicious. I'm very happy with how this came out. So let's eat. If you do end up making this, I highly suggest that you try the cream cheese with carrot salmon one. That combination is a killer one. Anyways, subscribe. If you have any suggestions, leave a comment, like this video, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.